Hey everyone, it's Brett from Hope to Prosper, and I'm out and about on a hike with my wife and my dogs on a Tuesday morning, just enjoying nature. A little cloudy today, but still a beautiful day. Okay, thanks for coming along, and I'll let you know what I have on my mind. Okay, 10 ways to live it up on a budget. You know, if you're retired on a moderate income, you don't have big money coming in, you may not be able to afford to do some of the things other people dream about, like jetting around Europe or staying in a big expensive resort in Fiji or Hawaii. But that doesn't mean you have to stay at home and watch TV all day. There's lots of things you can do. There's lots of creative ways you can enjoy your retirement without breaking the bank. And I'm already doing most of these 10 things on this list, so I can tell you for sure they're both fun and budget friendly. And to be honest, I've been doing many of these things for decades, and that's probably one of the reasons I was able to retire at 58. Because I couldn't afford to spend all my money on lavish vacations. All right, so let's get started. Number 1, camping. 20 years ago, I made a lot less money than I made at the end of my career, a fraction. And all we could really afford to do for family vacations was to go camping. We couldn't take big plane rides and stay in resorts. But instead, we stayed in tents and a shell in the back of my truck. We had so many great times, riding dirt bikes out in the desert, fishing up in the high Sierras, and camping at the beach, and just visiting new places. So it was a blast, I can tell you. The kids are all grown up now. It's harder for us all to get together, but we still go camping a couple times a year, and we still all love it. Number 2, road trips. I'm about to embark on my second epic road trip this year, and I could hardly wait. Man, I got itchy feet, I can tell you. I went on 4 awesome road trips last year, and 4 to 5 seems like a perfect number for me. 2 trips per year is definitely not enough. We had some setbacks and couldn't travel for a little bit, and now I'm trying to catch up. The reason I love road trips so much is because you get to see the whole countryside from behind your windshield, and you never get bored of one place for staying there too long because you just keep moving. And you can pack a lot of different places and activities into one big trip. And it doesn't cost much. All you have to really do is fill up your tank, eat at some diners, and stay at cheap hotels. And you could stay out on the road quite a while. Number 3, happy hour. Where we live, San Clemente, California, a nice dinner at like a modest restaurant, not a fancy one. Nice dinner for 2, it's going to set you back about $100 plus a tip. I could go to the same restaurant a couple hours earlier at a happy hour or a Taco Tuesday, and I could eat for about half. And so that's a really neat value for us. And we have our favorite restaurants that we love, and they literally cost half as much to go at happy hour than to have a big dinner. And since I retired, I have no problem showing up at 4 o'clock for happy hour, right at the beginning when it's not crowded, instead of trying to rush home from work and get there before happy hour ends at 7 or 6 for some of them. And some restaurants also have early bird specials or senior discounts. I know that makes me sound old, but these things make eating at my favorite restaurants, fun and affordable. Number 4, walking. Before we got injured, my wife and I were walking about 2 or 3 times a week in the mornings. We'd walk what we called the Big Loop. It was about a 4-mile loop around down by the beach and then back up the Coast Highway. And often along the way, we'd stop for breakfast. There's a little French place that we like and a couple other little cafes we could stop at. And it was a good routine. It was healthy, and we loved it. And now that we have the new puppy, Millie's like a year old now, but she's still like a big puppy. We're walking up in the hills more instead of down at the beach, and we're letting the dogs run free off leash outside of the city limits where you won't get an off leash ticket. So. Number 5, riding a bike. I went riding last week with my buddy Al, and I just forgot how much I loved it, mountain biking. You can cover so much more ground than walking, and you get the thrill of going downhill at speed and the wind in your face and all that fun stuff. And, biking can be dangerous, but I think it's one of the risks that's worth it. Whether you ride road or mountain bike or e-bikes are super popular here at the beach. You're just cruising around, and bikes are a blast. So it's well worth the initial cost for a bike, And bikes don't cost that much to begin with, and you could buy them used for a song. You don't have to go out and spend a lot of money on a bike. Number 6, learn an instrument. I played saxophone in a band at school, and I wasn't very good at it. Let's just say I wasn't musically inclined. Even though I worked really hard at it, it just didn't come natural to me. But I would love to pick up the guitar and learn how to play it. I think that would be a lot of fun. Now that I have more free time, music's a hobby I'd like to explore. So I've always loved listening to music, but I was never a very good musician, so it discouraged me from playing an instrument. But I think I might have to retry that. Number 7, affordable sports. There's 2 kinds of sports. There's the kind that cost a lot of money, and then there's the kind that are cheap once you have the equipment. So, for example, golf has some really expensive green fees, especially here in Southern California. And softball has league fees every season. And if you compete in tournaments like we did, that really adds up. Now you got travel costs added to the tournament fees. But on the other hand, things like kayaks and bicycles, they seem expensive up front, but they cost very little to use once you own them. So you only need to get to the water or the trailhead, and you're all set pretty much for free. Other sports that are affordable ongoing are things like pickleball, soccer, tennis, basketball. There are tons of free courts for these things, and all you need is a partner and some basic equipment, and you can enjoy it. Number 8, parks and picnics. I love to picnic in a scenic location like a park or a nature reserve, and we also have places that overlook the beach and things of that sort, and so sometimes we would just go on a picnic. Lately, I've been fortunate enough to picnic in some of the national parks, and that's really a special treat. We had a picnic on Yellowstone Lake that was really nice. So even a picnic at a local stream or lake, it just can make for a wonderful day. So think about getting outside, taking your lunch, and eating in the sunshine instead of eating in the same old spot inside. Number 9, hiking in wilderness areas. I'm an avid hiker. You guys have watched my videos, and you've been subjected to a lot of footage of me hiking. But something about being outside in nature, it calms my mind, it feeds my soul. So whether I'm trying to bag a peak, I'm hiking at a bucket list location, like when I was in Glacier National Park, or just walking around the hills of my city, hiking is one of my favorite pastimes. And for those of you who aren't able to hike or just not that enthusiastic about it, you can always drive through nature in your car, or hang out in a wilderness area, or admire all that nature has to offer without having to walk. And number 10, I'm going to finish with this, is watching the sunset. Watching the sunset is one of my all-time favorite free activities. I'm not sure why I get so much enjoyment out of it, but it always leaves me feeling happy and full of gratitude. Watching the sunset in a new or beautiful location is even better. I'm fortunate to have a peak ocean view, so for most of the year, I can watch the sunset over the ocean. And if you're an early riser, maybe watching the sunrise is your thing, and maybe that's more, that's more enjoyable to you. Okay, so let's finish it up. The bottom line is there are plenty of wonderful ways to enjoy life in retirement on a budget. You don't have to spend money to bring happiness into your life. You don't have to worry about any of the expensive things you may be missing now that you're retired and on a budget. All you really need are some nature, some hobbies, some friends and family, and that's it. You can get together and enjoy your retirement life without any cost. Okay, everyone, thanks for coming along this week. I hope you enjoyed the video and these 10 affordable ideas for fun in retirement. I wish you all health, happiness, and prosperity in your lives, and I will see you next week on our next big adventure.